This noise and pointless cacophony is making my head ache. I was just thinking about how amazing it would be if I could just snap my fingers and reach somewhere far, far away. Maybe in the depths of a dense forest. The chirps of crickets and the tweets of birds. Oh. These countless big and small trees. The sweet fragrances of different flowers and fruits. The colorful fluttering moths and butterflies around me. And such strange and peculiar animals. Listen closely. There's a calm stream gently flowing at a distance too. The colors, the sounds, the scents, the life, the experience. Isn't it lovely here? Very often in our busy lives, we tend to forget about the plethora of species we share our vast planet with. Think about it. How often do we think about the fishes swimming around in the water? The squawking macaws and parrots. The vines and climbers creeping their way through a forest. The chattering and howling monkeys. The mysterious snakes sneaking and slithering in the forest depths. The diversity of life on our planet is truly mind-boggling. I'm not just talking about major life forms. The number of tiny life forms like insects and plants is also baffling. Can you believe that we share our planet with more than 20,000 species of ants, 3 lakh species of beetles, 28,000 species of fish, and nearly 20,000 species of orchids? This diversity of life can be understood by learning about biodiversity. In simple words, biodiversity is the variety of life on Earth and its interaction with each other. Now, what do I mean by variety of life? Humans, plants, wildlife, and microorganisms are all a part of this biodiversity. Ecologists are of the view that this diversity of life is very important for maintaining the balance of life on Earth. But what is this balance? And how will it be affected if the diversity was any less? Well, to learn about this, we have to understand the interdependencies among the different life forms on Earth and how they affect each other. Biodiversity is the variety of life forms found on Earth. These life forms are interdependent on each other. How? Let's consider a plant. It captures solar energy from the sun and nutrients from the soil to make food. Parts of this get stored in the leaves, fruits, and so on. Now, let's say the leaves of this plant are then consumed by a grasshopper, and some of the stored energy and nutrients are transferred to the grasshopper. What if this grasshopper is then eaten by a bird? The energy and nutrients that were stored in the grasshopper are transferred to the bird. After this, if a leopard were to eat that bird, the energy and nutrients stored in the bird would get transferred to the leopard. In this way, the energy and nutrients flow among different life forms. This kind of feeding relationship is known as a food chain. Many such food chains are interlinked and are interdependent on each other, and they end up forming a food web. Now, consider the food chain that we just discussed. Let's assume that in this food chain, at every level, there is just one kind of organism present. This means that the biodiversity of the system is very low. Now, what if I remove the birds from this food chain? What will happen? Well, no birds would mean that there would be no food for the leopards, and hence they would perish. Without the birds, the population of the grasshoppers would increase drastically, as they wouldn't have any predators. As their numbers keep increasing, the grasshoppers will consume all the plants in the system, wiping out all the plants there. Without any new plants growing, the grasshopper population would also start dwindling. Over time, we can see that this entire system would disintegrate and collapse. But wait, let's rewind the clock and make a few tweaks. What if I tell you that biodiversity can save us from such a calamity? Let's say even if one kind of bird is removed from the system, there are other kinds of birds to take its place. Not just birds. Let's say there are many more life forms at every level of the system. This would ensure that the stability of the overall system will be maintained. That's why the more the number of life forms we have in a system, the more stable the system would be. India is one of the most biologically diverse countries and accounts for 7 to 8% of all recorded species in the world. It is home to 49,000 plant species and 91,000 different animal species. India is also home to some of the most diverse type of forests: tropical, deciduous, montane, mangroves, and so on. The evergreen forests of the Western Ghats are the most species-rich ecoregion in the Deccan Peninsula. A large chunk of the species found in these forests are endemic, which means that they can't be found anywhere else in the world. However, all's not well in our flourishing biodiversity. Over half of India's natural forests are gone. 1/3 of its wetlands have been drained out. 70% of its surface water bodies are polluted. 40% of its mangroves wiped out. And with continued hunting and trade of wild animals and commercially valuable plants, thousands of plant and animal species are heading towards extinction. Our Earth is a living, thriving entity. I'm reminded of a wise adage that I once heard about the Earth. We do not inherit our Earth from our forefathers. We borrow it from our children. So, let's remember to tread lightly and ensure that Mother Earth and her dynamic diversity lives on forever.